Perfect.
Okay. You guys, my name is Carolyn Betts, and I currently run a sales recruiting agency here in San Francisco. Prior to starting this agency, I have an extensive background in sales, specifically enterprise sales, selling to public companies. And if you've ever, how many people in here have a sales background? Okay, so imagine, okay, you're in sales and you're trying to get into one of these Fortune 500 companies or any public company. What the management tells you is to learn the initiatives of these companies. And the way that you can do it is that you can print out their financial statement. It's about this thick. And read through it and find what their initiatives are. If you've ever met a salesperson, the last thing that salesperson wants to do is read that document. So what I propose is to create a technology where you can aggregate all the information, make it searchable like Google to search these financial statements for initiatives, creating certain products, or let's say I'm selling a product lifecycle management tool. I can type into this searchable database, salesforce.com, product lifecycle management initiatives, and figure out which initiatives for the company might be surrounding what I'm trying to sell. And so that way, the lazy salespeople that are very short on time can find the initiatives to sell into the executives that they're trying to get a hold of. So that's pretty high level. Is that enough information?
So if I understand this correctly, it's like the company puts this out there, kind of what they're interested in hearing about, and then it's like something that's searchable for salespeople to be like, oh, I can talk about that, and that's what we do, and you get to go out there. It's kind of like, almost like an RFP, if you will.
No.
So,
okay.
not
really. So companies already put out their financial statements every year.
You mean like 10Ks?
10Ks, right? Yeah. Exactly.
Specifically 10Ks, or do they have other ones that have the?
They have some other ones too.
Well, there's zillions. But
I cared so little that I don't even know the names of those documents. But I knew I was supposed to read them. And so what I'm thinking, and the information is in there, and it's actually very easy to find if you know where to look, if you've done this for a long time. So basically, figuring out from these huge documents what the main initiatives are for these companies, and then also putting this text into a platform where people can easily search the financial statements and find the information that they need, as opposed to reading through each and every one.
So does it only work for public companies?
Yeah, because private companies don't have these same statements.
I mean, they were not a K1, but they release different kinds of information.
So you might be able to aggregate that as well.
So Amazon has a service where you can outsource compiling this information. I forget what it's called.
Mechanical Turk.
Thank you.
But it's probably too complicated for Mechanical Turk.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you should educate me. What's the information inside here that I want to capture that everyone puts out?
So it's basically when you're looking to call into like a C-level or any executive within a company, as a salesperson, you want to understand what they care about.
Yeah.
And a really good way to figure that out is what the initiatives are coming down from the top. And they're written in the financial statements or other statements that they have. So you're trying to figure out quickly, because it takes a long time to dig through these things, what these initiatives are and how your product as a salesperson. So, if you're selling a CRM, is this company that you're selling the CRM to looking to, build out their database and engage with their customers more? Or what's the verbiage that they're using? And be able to understand what the company's objectives are, so you can sell to that, as opposed to just being a salesperson cold calling in and being like, hey, yeah, I have no idea what you guys want to do, but here's my product.
And Google, sorry.
Well, because I actually have a fair amount of insight into this problem, because a business idea I had a while back was to create an iPhone app that reads 10Ks, that parses them so that, because they're badly formatted for the iPhone. And what I can tell you is, with a lot of work, you could write a parser that could pretty reliably identify the business about the business section in the 10K, which is almost always it's always in the same spot. So that'd be pretty easy, but it doesn't provide a whole lot of value add, because if you just like it's always at the front, and you can find it pretty easily if you're just flipping through. Maybe there's like a statistical word analysis technology out there that might actually be able to spot inside that business section. This looks like they're describing an initiative that's useful to salespeople. Like if they did a big study on these with a big data set and figured out this signature, this pattern of word frequencies is indicative of talking about future plans or salesperson relevant information. But I don't know. You'd be gambling on the ability to do that, or you'd have to find out if someone has come up with technology to do it.
Law firms uses IP search, very high-end IP search softwares. We have used one. It's called Delphion, and it uses extremely good statistical indicators to find contexts and bringing out the meat of the matter. So yeah, I mean, it almost sounds it's inevitable to have such technologies in place, which can actually not only bring out just the text, but develop the context along with it.
Oh, and something you might look at is called Edgar Online,
Yep.
which is it's for investors, but they do a certain amount of pre-digesting financial statements, and it may be that there's like a quick link. They may provide enough.
There's a charge on Edgar though.
Yeah, it does. Well, the Edgar Online, which is the service, yeah, you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
But it's business, right? Like someone's going to pay for something. So, and I'm sure they don't do more than make it. They might make it easy to get to the business section, easier than it already is. But they wouldn't do more than that. But it's something to look at.
So as a salesperson, yeah, I'm really short on time. I don't want to spend all the time reading these 10Ks.
Right.
But I want to go to your service because I want to decide early on if it's not worth it, or what is the time save? Like, do I help you? Do I help the client potentially justify it to the boss why they're spending the money here, or is that what it is?
Yeah, and just understanding what the main goals are from the executive team that's put together the 10K and what they're saying. So their main purpose of the company and where they want to take it to the next level and how your product relates to that.
Yeah, so go down the list, tell them we can do X, X, and Y, and you can tell your boss that, and he's going to love you.
Right, I saw in your 10K that your main initiative this year coming down from your CEO was to do X, Y, and Z. My product, does exactly that by doing this, this, and this. Let's set up a 30-minute meeting, and I can run you through a quick demo and let you know. And people are like, oh, and maybe coming up with a better statement than that, but at least understanding without having to read through these entire documents what those bits and pieces are.
So if I were you, the business I would do is hire a bunch of PhDs in text processing and come up with a service that scans downloads all of them from the SEC.
Yep.
And scans them all for because as you know, these are documents that are like 100 pages long and 97 pages are boilerplate. And that finds that 3 pages that's not boilerplate, and probably, I don't know, half of them, even the non-boilerplate is just garbage. It's just like business nonsense speak to kind of to check the boxes.
Right.
So hire PhDs that can write search algorithms that find the ones that have actual good information, so that your salespeople don't even bother looking at the 10Ks that are all garbage at all. And then that's what I would do.
And you could even come up with a database of every single public company, and then it's like the salesperson will type in, okay, this is the company I'm looking for, what is the good information from their 10K, and then just, parse that.
Probably what the interface would look at is the 10K pops up, and the parts that the algorithm thinks are meaningful are highlighted, and then they can look at that, and then they have context so that they can scan around it to see if the algorithm misses stuff.
And then they could even take it one step further and make it searchable. So if they have a keyword, if they're selling into sales or product or whatever, they might be able to have where that keyword pops up through that.
Yeah, that would be part of it.
Cool. Thank you. Anyone
How many times is yeah?
You're down at 10 seconds. You're the first person who has actually hit the nail on the head. Wow.
Thank you.
High five for that.